Hi guys, this is EBPMAN with another unboxing. Today I have for you the Samsung Galaxy S3 from AT&T. It's the 16 gig model. So let's take a look and see what's in the box. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove the cover. And what we'll find here is it's a nice box. We have our AT&T starter guide. We have our Galaxy phone. We'll take a look at the hardware in a second. My SIM card, the card was already pre-installed by AT&T. The back to the phone, so there's your back cover. Let's see what else is inside. Move this guy to the side. This guy. We have our user guide. Samsung does include headphones with their phones, a micro USB charging cable, the charger, let's see what else, and the battery. So, it did not include a micro SD memory card, but we'll go ahead and look at the hardware in a couple seconds, but this is what's in the box. So this is the blue version of the Samsung Galaxy S3, and what you'll see is here you have your volume rocker. On the bottom of the phone you'll find the micro USB charging port. You do have one physical button in the center here, and we'll talk about that later. On this side you have your power button, your camera, also your light sensors, and then you have obviously your speaker so that you can hear as you bring this up to your face. On the back you'll notice that AT&T has implemented, or Samsung has implemented with this phone, the smaller SIM. So if you do have an older phone and you're just looking to swap out these phones and you don't have the smaller SIM card, that's going to be a problem for you. You'll need to get that swapped out. And here you have the micro SD slot. You have your camera, right? Your flash, and then your speaker when you have the speakerphone going. If we take a look at the battery for a second, the battery for the Samsung, it's an improvement over the previous version. This is the battery to my Galaxy S, and this is the S2, and this is the S3. So while the size is a little bit bigger, I'll flip that so you guys can see it that way. So this is my S2, this is my S3. What you'll notice is that this one's an 1800 milliamp battery, this is a 2100 milliamp battery. So you have a larger battery, more capacity. Could be because of the enhancements in processing, but we hope that you'd get equal to, or if not better life than you did on your previous battery. So it does have a plastic back, so this is the back cover to it. It's really, I don't really see much of a difference when you compare the S2 to the S3, outside of the fact that it is longer because of the size of the phone, and it's lost the texture backings. The backing for the S2 had a texture to it, and the Galaxy S3 has no texture. It's a smooth finish and it's a glossy finish. It does pick up fingerprints, but for me it's not that important when it comes to the cover and even the plastic nature of the phone. I always put my phones in cases, so it really doesn't matter. So once again, that's what the back cover looks like. Alright, so let's put the cover on, and this is something I like to do because many times when you put the cover onto the phone, many people have trouble taking it off, or they're afraid it's going to get broken. So the cover snaps in just like the other Galaxies, and we'll just make sure that it's snapped all the way around. So literally, if you just rub your finger right here around the sides, you'll notice if it's raised or not. And now it's on. If you want to take it off, let's see if we can get a close-up right there. There is a little notch right here that all you have to do is you put your nail right here, and then you don't have to be afraid of it. Just pull it out. This is not going to break that easily, right? You're not going to bend it. It will just snap out like that. Put it back in, you just align, and then you just press in, like I said, you just work your way through the sides, and it'll just snap in, and as it snaps in, your cover will be back on, and everything aligns nicely. So that's how you put on the cover, and that's how you take it off. Let's see what the startup looks like. So let's take off the cover, or the plastic protector, and let's turn on the phone, just to see what it looks like when you turn it on. Okay, you hold it for a couple seconds and you'll feel vibration, and then once the vibration is over, it will actually go through the actual setup process. This should be pretty quick with the new processor. Very colorful, I can tell you so far just with that. That's pretty nice. So this is the again, the proprietary branding that AT&T has on their phone. And what we'll do is we'll go through the setup. Setup is going to be pretty much stock Android. There's not much changing here. So what I'll do is I'll go through the actual setup process and then we'll see what it looks like. So one neat feature I just wanted to show you, as soon as I was going to go through the whole setup process, but I noticed that there's some neat features or things going on here with Ice Cream Sandwich. As soon as I chose automatic when it comes to date and time, the neat thing about this is that it recognized the calendar date automatically. It also recognized the time and the time zone I'm in, and I'm in a central time zone, so it automatically set that up for me and I didn't have to do anything. It hasn't been connected to a PC or anything. The next thing would be is to set up your Google account. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. I'll hit next. It's asking for my information as to who this belongs to. I'll go ahead and just skip that. We'll do that later. Google services, we'll hit next. Setup is complete. We finish. We have, it looks like a slight tutorial here. So let's see how this tutorial works. It just says, talks about the different swiping methods, swiping up, swiping down, which is nice for someone who's never used Android before. How to gain access to the actual apps. And that's a nice start out, especially for someone who's never used an Android phone before. And that's it. So phone's up. You'll notice that I have a 4G LTE connection here. I have really good service for AT&T in this area. And if we were to just swipe across and we want to see kind of the performance, it's pretty, again, for navigating, it's pretty slick, smooth, almost buttery-like when it comes to navigating from page to page. But that's what you'd expect from a phone of this type, something this new. You'll notice also that now that it's on, you have these other two, your back button and your menu button, and your home button in the center, which takes you back to the home page. And let's go ahead and look at some other aspects of the phone and how it compares to the previous Galaxy. So here I have a series of the Galaxy S series of phones, and then also a Galaxy Note, just so that you can see differences. Obviously, this is the first generation, so we'll kick that to the side. But as you compare it to the S2 here compared to the S3, you notice that it is slightly larger. You'll also notice if I put it side by side, this is where you see some good improvement in the overall thickness of the device. It is thinner. And they did make some changes where your volume rocker is now just one button, versus the previous version actually it was one button, but it had that depression where you can actually physically distinguish the up and the down rocker. If we compare it to the Galaxy Note, and we'll bring them, the Galaxy Note is slightly thicker, not by much from what I can tell. And the other thing that we'll notice is as we flip it on the back, when we look at all these three phones, the Galaxy S2 has a lip to the back, a little raised lip, and the Galaxy S3 has none. It's all flat. So has the Galaxy Note. It's pretty much the same. Things that have changed, the other thing that you'll notice if you're considering this phone from your S2 is the placement of the flash has now changed. It's moved. And then also your speaker, as opposed to being at the bottom as it is on the Galaxy S2, it is now on the top on the S3 on this version. And you notice here on the Galaxy Note, the flash is on the opposite side, but then the speaker is on the bottom, so they moved everything to the top. Besides that, you're having your audio jack. Also was your port was swapped on this, so just moved over a little bit. And I'd say pretty much the rest is the same from what I can tell. Now let's take a look at. We're going to do a startup test. I mistakenly started this just to see what the difference is and how quickly it boots up as it compares to the the second generation Galaxy. All right, so let's just. I'm not going to go into a very in-depth review of the hardware and how it performs. We'll do that a little bit later. We'll do speed tests and whatnot. But right now, just to give you a sense, how much faster is it even from a cold boot? Not that all of us do that, but it's always something that you see done on a lot of hardware sites. So what I'm going to do is find the on button on both of these phones. It's going to be kind of odd for a second or awkward. I'm going to press them until I feel them vibrate, and then I'm going to let go. Okay. Now this phone does have a screen protector, so it does distort somewhat the screen. This is a Sprint phone as well.
and you're done. So this phone is ready to go. And it was pretty close. I'd say not that significant when it came to starting up, but not bad. What we'll do is, one of the things that's still happening is that this phone is still going through the SD, updating the SD and whatnot. So we'll take a look at performance a little bit later. But for now, significant improvement in screen, and you notice the nice little ripples when you touch the screen just come up, the effects. Screen size, as you can tell, is larger. Thinness it's much thinner than the predecessor, and it has a better battery. We just got to see what the battery life is going to look like. So what we'll do is do a in-depth hardware comparison. We'll do that in a subsequent video. If you have any comments, leave them on the YouTube channel or visit us on tabletsforme.com.